You ever scroll through your feed and wait a minute, where's that one friend? You know the one. No selfies, no updates, not a single life announcement. They're like a total ghost online. And it's so easy to just assume, oh, they must be shy or maybe they're unhappy, right? Well, psychology has a way different take on this. And honestly, it's a much more powerful one. So, yeah, let's get into it. I mean, that's the big question, right? We live in this world that's all about getting attention, likes, shares, you name it. So choosing to be invisible online, that feels kind of radical. But here's a thought. What if it's not about hiding at all? What if it's about having something so solid inside that you just don't need the rest of the world to tell you you're there? All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll tackle our own assumptions about the social media ghost. Then, we'll dig into why some people put privacy way above popularity. After that, we'll talk about having a strong inner compass. We'll also see how they escape that whole digital illusion. And finally, we'll look at what it really means to feel seen. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about this social media ghost. We all have a story we tell ourselves about that person, right? But that story is usually based on a big misunderstanding. And we're about to flip that whole narrative completely upside down. So get this. This is where it gets really interesting. Our first guess is shy, right? But the psychology says, no, it's actually secure. We think, oh, they must be antisocial. But really, it points to them being incredibly self-aware. And that assumption of them being unhappy, turns out it's often a sign of high emotional intelligence. It's like our first instincts are the exact opposite of the truth. And that leads us right into the first big idea here. For these folks, it's not about avoiding people at all. It's a conscious choice. They're picking privacy over popularity. It's a deliberate move to protect their own inner world, their own headspace. Yeah, there's a psychological term for this. It's called a high privacy orientation. And really, all it means is that you value being in control of your personal information. Think of it like this. You're the director of your own life's movie. You get to decide who sees what. It's not about being secretive, not at all. It's about owning your own story. And here's the real kicker. They get their validation from themselves, not from likes, not from comments. When they feel good about something, it's because of the thing itself, not because of the online reaction. They are their own audience. And man, that is a powerful, secure way to live. And that self-validation, that security, it comes from the next big thing we need to talk about, a super strong inner compass. We're talking about a powerful sense of self-awareness. See, it's not just about wanting privacy. It's about knowing who you are so well that you don't need social media to act like a mirror and tell you. And of course, there's a name for this too. It's called self-concept clarity. It just means you have a really clear, stable idea of who you are. Your identity doesn't wobble around depending on the latest trend or who's looking. It's solid, it's yours. It's like having your own internal GPS that always points north. And when you've got that kind of clarity, a few things happen. For one, you know what you stand for. You know your values and your goals. So you're way less likely to just chase after every new trend. You start judging yourself by your own standards, not what other people think. And that constant need for someone else to say good job, it just kind of melts away. You feel whole, all on your own. And this quote really just nails it, doesn't it? Their happiness doesn't depend on how people react. It comes from within. It's so true. Their happiness isn't at the mercy of public opinion. It's an inside job, through and through. They make their own happiness, and that makes them incredibly resilient. Okay, but it's not just about what's going on inside them. Being quiet online is also a really smart move to avoid all the noise. It's about making a conscious choice to step away from the digital illusion, that carefully curated version of reality we see on our screens. There's a well-known psychological trap for this. It's called social comparison theory. Basically, it's just our human instinct to look at what other people are doing to figure out how we're doing. The problem is, online, the game is rigged. You're not comparing your real life to their real life. You're comparing your everyday, behind-the-scenes stuff to their absolute best, most polished highlight reel. And just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got the endless comparison game, just running on a hamster wheel, chasing illusions. And on the other side, their reality, an authentic life, a life with real mental peace, because they've stepped off that wheel entirely. At the end of the day, it's that simple. And it's that powerful. They choose peace over performance. It's an active choice they're making for their own mental health. Okay, so let's tie this all together, shall we? We've busted the myths, we've looked at the real psychological strengths behind being quiet online, and what we're left with is a totally different way of looking at confidence, especially now, in this digital world. And this is the big takeaway right here. Being invisible online is not a weakness. It's actually a sign of incredible inner strength. Real confidence isn't about shouting the loudest online. It's about being so comfortable and secure with who you are that you don't need anyone else to notice. And this quote, this one just says it all. They don't need to be seen to feel seen. It gets right to the heart of it. They feel seen by the people who actually matter in their real, everyday lives. Their connection is authentic, not just broadcast for an audience. So, I guess the question I want to leave you with is this. In a world that's constantly screaming for our attention, what does real confidence actually look like to you? It's something to think about, right? Because maybe, just maybe, it's a lot quieter than we've all been taught to believe.